Dear audience, we are talking to Dr. Prasad Kaipa. He's an executive coach, and he has written so many books and a lot of public speaking, and he brings spirituality, business and technology together, and in terms of some of the leadership perspectives and thought process, and how one can apply some of these principles into, as he says, the business smartness as well as the functional smartness. So my next question to you, Dr. Prasad Kaipa, is igniting the genius within. Could you please unpack this for us?
Sure. There are different models when we look at our children or ourselves, for that matter. You know, many of us have got children. We look at it and say, oh, my son is very good at mathematics. Oh, my daughter is very good in computer science or logic, and she will be a great lawyer. You know, so we have certain predilections about their capabilities. And if they also believe in that, they will pay a lot of attention to where they are strong. And based on our encouragement and their own interest, they become excellent in certain areas. If there are no such adult support, like if teachers don't support them, teachers don't recognize that they are good in something, majority of the times, people will not necessarily reach the capacity that they are capable of reaching, because they didn't have mentors, they didn't have guides, they didn't have teachers, they didn't have parents who recognize the talent in them. So what I figured out is, like Howard Gardner is a professor who used to be in Harvard and later in New York University. He has done pioneering work on what is called multiple intelligences. Mm-hmm. And Howard basically says, each one of us don't necessarily have only intelligence, which is measured by Stanford Binet test, the IQ. We have many other Qs, not just the EQ, which became famous because of Daniel Goleman. We also have musical intelligence. Mm-hmm. We have kinesthetic intelligence. That means intelligence to fix things, build things. We know how to do certain things with our body. We can put together models, but we may not be able to explain it to them. Mm-hmm. Some people are very good in relationships. They are like social butterflies. They are connected with so many people. They can get a lot of people to do a lot of things for them and with them, because their relationship intelligence is very, very high. Mm-hmm. So like this, there are about 9 or 10 different kinds of intelligences that each person has got. What it means is, if I'm very good in logico-mathematical sense, that means I can pick that up very quickly. But if I limit my intelligence only into mathematics and computer science and engineering, then I'm actually wasting a lot of my talents, and I may never discover my capabilities in other areas. Mm-hmm. The way to think about is use your skills. Like if you are good in mathematics, you are tuned into mathematical language, but use the mathematics to learn music. Then figure out that the ways in which the thala happens and the way in which the raga elaborates is also mathematical. Mm-hmm. Right? Rhythm and the scale and all of them are mathematics. So once you think about mathematical ways of looking at music, then suddenly you can learn a lot of music and still enjoy both mathematical mind and the ability to create wonderful music. So you can use the logico-mathematical as the basis to develop other kinds of intelligences. If there is a mentor, or if there is a teacher or a parent understands your predilection or your strength in a particular kind of intelligence. So the idea of igniting the genius within is that in each one of us, we are not like what you might call a empty brain. We open the mind and the teachers pour knowledge, especially with the Google, especially in the 21st century with the Khan Academy, or if you try to take North-South Foundation. Like for example, North-South Foundation is a Indian-American organization headquartered in Chicago, who have been teaching children how to prepare for the spelling bee or geography bee and all of them. They have been working on Indian American children for 30 years. And what is amazing is for past 11 years in a row, Indian Americans have been winning the spelling bees and geography bees and all the kind of bee competitions, because North-South Foundation found there is a particular way of coaching children. And they found out that you can increase the chances of succeeding by like 40,000 times if they go through the North-South Foundation coaching program, training program, and participate in the competitions. What is amazing is most of the people who won this script spelling bee never won the North-South Foundation championship, but still they were able to win the main event. What does it mean? Somehow, you know, whether it is Kuman, whether it is the Khan Academy, whether it is North-South Foundation, they are able to trigger the genius within the children to take them all the way to the end. You know, the last mile they can take them. So how do we ignite the genius within, you know, my subordinates? My subordinates may not be very good in certain areas that I want them to do, but instead of saying, you know what, you are not very good, we have hired you for this, your engineering degree or your management degree is waste because you don't have the operational skills or supply chain management or something else. But instead, if we can find out what are they passionate about, where is their natural intelligence irrespective of their degrees and experience, and what is it that we can recognize as their tendencies to move towards, where are they distracted, where are they focused. Even people with ADHD and ADD, in certain areas, they can put long spans of attention and they can do some things. When we find those areas, we can take those people who are very difficult to manage or who are not very successful in their stuff. They can actually become extraordinarily productive and extraordinarily successful in certain areas. So like Ruben Feuerstein, and you know, who worked on mediated learning experience with Down syndrome and children on the, you know, autistic spectrum. So like that, there are ways in which we can bring out the best either in children or in our employees or our colleagues by recognizing that a person has got a lot more gifts than she or he has been recognized for. With appropriate mentoring, with appropriate attention to them, we can actually make them successful, make us successful, and make the organization successful. But that requires a certain orientation, certain belief that I am interested in igniting the genius within you, whether it is already recognized or not recognized. So that is the principle with which I have started about 30 years ago. So all my work is about how do I bring out the best in people,
right?
And how do I help them to make the transformation they are capable of making with the assistance that I can provide.
Fantastic, fantastic. This is great, Dr. Prasad Kaipa, because one of the things, like I come from a operational program management and project management background. So one of the things that I tell my team is to how I can enable them and remove the blockers, because there is what I heard in one of the Harvard Business School podcasting is there are multiple styles in which you can ignite the genius in a different way, which is basically make them to do it. Like, this is how I done it, so I want you to follow the exact steps, go do it. So this is one kind of forcing it. Second thing is, you know what, just do it in any way you want, but you know, I'm there for you. This is more like a cheerleader kind of stuff. I'm here to help you out. The other thing is basically what you can say is, if I'm given the opportunity, there are 5 different ways in which you can do it, but I leave it to you. So basically you give the flexibility and the empowerment method of learning, and say, these are the various ways, but I leave it to you. So that's another way of doing it. And finally, what I learned from that is basically, I don't have the knowledge enough to help you, but you know what? I'm there for you. I will get you help from other department people and other managers who have done this before. So you can always learn from this. So that's kind of my learning. And I could relate it to what you just say. It's become a responsibility of us to bring out this from the target group or the customer with kids or anything. So thank you so much. And it's very enlightening.
Very well.
Very enlightening. Fantastic. So we will, there's the last one for this session. I would like to talk more and more to hear you, actually, right? Like Arjuna in Gita, like you are Lord Krishna. So I'm just bowing
You are
my
very
head
kind.
and then learn from you. Last thing, personal mastery.
Okay.
In what manner? Can you please tell us 1 or 2 steps and where do we start? So we all like a lot of things, but the question here is, how do we start?
I find the personal mastery is ultimately what we can aim for, especially as we move out of the COVID crisis. And as companies are saying, you don't even have to come to work, but we expect you to deliver on certain things.
Yes.
So the focus is becoming on self-discipline and self-awareness. And the third step is self-mastery. If you don't have the discipline to go through certain process and identify where the gaps are, what is expected, what is delivered, what was I able to do with the resources that I have, what is it that other people have been able to deliver, and what are the kinds of gaps that I need to bridge. And do I have the discipline to learn what I need to learn so that next time I'm given the project, I can do it better. So the first, I need to have discipline. Second, I need to have awareness, because awareness is a continually changing. Most people say, I know. The moment you say, I know, that means awareness has gone out the door. Awareness is like a being mindful in the moment. In this particular context, there are certain gaps. There is a certain lacuna. How do I, first of all, ask them in a way that they can give me the feedback about what didn't work? For example, a lot of people get frustrated when they go for interviews, they don't get the job. They ask the companies, but the companies have got their own legal worries and other things. Recruiters and managers don't tell you why we didn't hire you.
Exactly.
So people are very frustrated saying, I don't know why I didn't get a job, but I can't figure it out. I come up to the interviews, but I don't make the finals. Even if I make the finals, when it comes to getting the job, I'm not able to go over the hump. How do I deal with that? So that means you don't have enough self-awareness about, number one, the answers that you have given, the depth of answers that you have given, but the depth of answers, are they appropriate to the context in which the manager is asking? Have you given too much in certain part, but not enough in what they are interested in finding out? You have gone into details a lot, but you didn't tell them the logic by which those details come about. So that means you are a good developer, but if they are interviewing for a designer post or for an architect post or a CTO post, then you are not demonstrating what you call meta skills, or you are not demonstrating the ability to create framework, the ability to look at the technology direction, the ability to put together a frame, your framework for you to architect. So what worked for you at one level may not work for you at another level. Do you have self-awareness that your strength has become a weakness? I call it a core incompetence. Your core incompetence does not come from the strengths that you have or the weaknesses that you have, but your blind belief in a one particular strength that got you the job last time, continuing to use it even if it is not appropriate. Like, this is a common example people use. Just because I'm great with a hammer,
everything looks like a nail.
I can't hammer a screw I need a screwdriver for it. They say, no, 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 no. I'll show you how to hammer a screw just like a nail. Yeah, but you are not serving. The reason why you put a screw is so that you can unscrew it and then fix it back if you need to. With a nail, you can't do it. Yes, you can hammer a screw, but you just completely miss the opportunity there. So the awareness is when to use the screw and screwdriver, hammer and nail. That requires us to be contextually sensitive, mindful, and be aware of what people are asking for. So that's the second level. Once you have the discipline to learn what you need to learn, and contextually keep making what you learn to change based on the growing needs or changing needs of the manager, organization, or of myself.
You have to course correct it. Yeah, you have to course correct it and modify.
Exactly. When I have that, I can achieve a certain level of mastery. And that mastery is not just about skills and knowledge, but I need to have the competence to apply the old skills and knowledge in the new context. That means that is something that doesn't come. That's why when you need to recognize when people promote you, they're not promoting you for what you have done. They're promoting you for the potential you have in you, that you have shown that you will be able to learn very quickly and you will be able to master the new situations and you will become better. But if you say, till I learned that, I'm not confident, or till I learned that, I need to go do an MBA before I become a marketing person, and I'm going to stay only in R&D because I don't have a degree or a certificate that tells me that I can do the marketing or product management or finance or something like that. Whereas some people say, yeah, I can do it, but let me sit with a finance person and a HR person. Let me learn what I need to. But I will say, guys, I may be the CEO, but you are the CFO. Make sure I don't make the mistakes. If I'm making investment decisions, you need to sit with me and tell me why we should do this investment, why we should not do this. You need to teach me that. So when I learned to become a student and a disciple with people who report into me, number one, you develop a deeper relationship and trust. Number two, you learn what you need to learn, and then you can also see when the CFO is using their own bias to make the decisions, you'll be able to say, I understand that. I think I know this is where you prefer, but I need to listen to the sales guy also. I need to listen to what the director of R&D is saying. I understand that this may not give us the best return, but if we don't put the investment into manufacturing right now, 9 months later, we won't have a product. So I hear you, CFO, but I want you to invest in this. So that ability to master when to focus on the knowledge, when to focus on the skill, when to focus on the competence, but to have the capacity to learn as well as teach. That is where we talk about you have achieved a certain amount of mastery. And this is not about just something like a technical subject. When you learn about when to control my voice, when to raise my voice, when to shout at somebody even though I'm not angry. So that means, can you show anger without being angry at your children? See, that works. When you are very compassionate and when you punish them in a way that they understand the cause and effect. You promised this, you didn't deliver this, so we lost this. So for that, you need to go through certain, what you might call prayaschitta, certain way in which you learn what you need to learn. Not because I told you, not because I'm punishing you, not because I promised you punishment, but if you need to learn, you need to face the consequences. That is like a consequences logic. Mastery is knowing the causes, consequences, when to choose what causes and when to skip them is something that about yourself in the context of relationships, in the context of your work, in the context of society. That's what I believe as a self-mastery.
Thank you so much, Dr. Prasad Kaipa. What a beautiful learning it is. And I really am blessed to spend this time with you here. And thanks again for making yourself available for itsdiff, this interview and a nice discussion. And thank you so much for presenting. And again, I have to go through this multiple times to just digest all this information. There's so much. Thank you so much. And I'm
It's my
sure our
pleasure.
audience will find it very, very interesting. And I wanted to leave a final note. And definitely, I have a few more topics, but I'll come up and meet with you in a separate time. And dear listeners, and here is Prasad Kaipa's website, Dr. Prasad Kaipa's website, www.prasadkaipa.com. So you can just find more information and learn about some of his works, papers, and his white papers, books, and whatnot. So hope you all enjoyed this conversation. Please do get in touch with us, itsdiff@gmail.com, itsdiff@gmail.com. Once again, it was a great pleasure and honor to have chatted with Dr. Prasad Kaipa, executive coach, entrepreneur, leader, and guide.
Retired. Everything retired.
Yeah, everything related to, again, bringing spirituality, business, and transformation. That's exactly what got started to revive my relationship and this started this conversation. And thank you so much for this presentation. And we wish all our audience staying safe, keeping the social distance, and stay well. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate and enjoyed the conversation. You have excellent questions and excellent insights that triggered a lot deeper and a lot more conversation than I intended to have. So thank you for that. I enjoyed it very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Prasad Kaipa. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Sri. Namaste.